Was anyone else watching the two Fyre Festival documentaries with a notebook and pen? Because I sure was. For the approximately 2.5 people still left in the world who don't know what Fyre Festival was, it was supposed to be the music festival to end all music festivals, the lap of luxury, Coachella on steroids, but ended up being a complete and utter disaster of hurricane tents, luxury cheese sandwiches, and Lord of the Flies style survival. But there's always a silver lining to everything, and I think this disaster serves as a great learning experience for creatives and specifically musicians who try and throw huge events or even are performing or a part in any way of any big event. So there are 5 lessons that I took away from watching these two documentaries on what creatives and specifically musicians should be able to take away and learn from in order to not make the same mistakes. Lesson number 1, social media is powerful, but it is also deadly. So Billy McFarland and his team was able to sell out a music festival with tickets starting at $400 and not including accommodation, travel, any of that, with most people spending upwards of $100,000, and they had nothing to show for it the entire time. And this man, who I am thoroughly convinced is somehow an evil genius, was able to convince investors and venture capitalists whose literal job it is to see these types of scams coming so they don't waste their money and they don't lose their money, to give him millions of dollars with, again, nothing to show for it. All based off of a highly strategic, well thought out social media campaign. This goes to show how absolutely powerful social media can be, and you can build your entire musical or creative career on the back of social media. However, there is also a dark side. An entire 2.5 years later, people like Bella Hadid, Kendall Jenner, and Hailey Baldwin are still very much associated with the disaster of Fyre Festival. And all of these 3 women, all they did was go take a modeling gig and post an orange tile on Instagram. But this shows the dark side of social media. It is forever, and people don't forget easily. So, as much as they really weren't responsible for anything that happened, their name still gets dragged through the mud anytime this festival comes about. So, if you are doing things in social media, if you're a creator or a musician, you need to be very, very careful with who you partner with, sponsor with, or represent in any way, because it can have a lasting effect on your career. Lesson number 2 is to underpromise and overdeliver. The biggest problem with Fyre Festival is that it promised its customers the world, the moon, and the stars, and ultimately delivered none of it. Even going as far as to sell villa packages for more homes that were even available on the actual island. It is always a bad idea to overpromise things and not deliver on it. It'll just make you look bad, make you look untrustworthy, and destroy the integrity of your brand. But if you underpromise and then surprise people with even more, then you look like a genius, a superstar, and super trustworthy. So more people are going to want to hire you or work with you in the future. Lesson number 3. Surround yourself with people who are willing to say no. Billy McFarland has this really infamous quote when it comes to the Fyre Festival. It basically goes something like, "We are not problem-focused group. We are a solutions-oriented group." Basically meaning that he did not want to hear no as an answer from anyone. He wanted to hear how they were going to fix the problem. This can become a problem because it'll create a surrounding of yes men. And yes men will never tell you that you're taking on too much, or your idea is too ludicrous, it's not possible, it's not feasible, and then everything ends in a disaster like Fyre Festival did. Instead, you want to surround yourself with people who are willing to tell you that, you know what, this is not a great idea, or you know what, there's not enough time to do this, so that you don't end up with the egg on your face, or in Billy McFarland's case, in jail for 6 years, because you surrounded yourself with people who always just went along with what you wanted to say. Lesson number 4. Contracts are useless unless they can be enforced. Again, 2.5 years later, there are people who put their blood, sweat, and tears into the festival and didn't see any returns, didn't even get paid for their time and effort. This is because the money wasn't there, it wasn't real. And you can sue Billy McFarland or Fyre Media as a group all you want, but if the money's not there, you're not going to get paid. This is specifically important for musicians who would be performing a lot because, yeah, you might be contracted to get paid, but if there's no money at the end of the night, there's just no money, and you already did the service, you already spent your time, but you're not getting any money. So just be highly, highly cautious when it comes to contracts. Don't just rely on the fact that there is a contract, meaning that you're going to get paid. Make sure that you have stipulations in place. Make sure you always use like a lawyer, and do your research and do your homework before you sign a contract with anyone. And lesson number 5. It is hard to recover a damaged brand. A lot of people know about Fyre Festival, but what a lot of people forget is that Fyre Festival was meant to just promote the Fyre app. Now that Fyre app is never going to see the light of day because of the disaster of Fyre Festival. So that means that if you have a brand and you're a musician or you're a creator and you're making your brand or even your name, any type of controversy, any type of scandal could potentially ruin your career and ruin the value of your brand. So you need to be careful in all of the steps and all of the decisions that you make because your brand is your livelihood, and without your brand, you no longer have anything. So those are the 5 lessons that I learned from watching the 2 Fyre Festival documentaries and watching the whole thing unfold online. I personally have been studying the social media of Fyre Festival to use it in my own companies that I'm trying to start right now because it is a great masterclass. Clearly they were able to sell all of these things without having anything, just via social media. So let me know what you guys learned from the 2 documentaries, or even which one you liked better, in the comment section down below. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video to continue to get great content like this every single week. I will see you guys next time. Bye.